is that those on the left hand side of the quadrant work for money, while those on the right hand side have created structures that make money work for them. Okay, so those on the left work for money, while those on the right, money works for them. Do you understand? So understanding the way money flows, cash flows in and out based on their behavioral patterns, decision making, etc., would really open our eyes up and then establish financial disciplines and education while we deal with money. All right. Happy Sunday, family. How you guys doing? I trust you had an awesome time in service today. Hope you went to church. Okay? The Lord has been good to us so far. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for investing in your financial future. Trust me, you are in the right place and you belong to the right family. Today we're going to be starting a very interesting series, right? One that directly impacts on your business and one that many entrepreneurs shy away from. Okay, it's going to be the basics of accounting. Now, when we studied accounting in school, it was theoretical. It seemed so vague and unrealistic and impracticable. Do you understand me? However, we're going to be starting a series where we're going to be teaching us how to have your own personal account statements. Do you understand? And how exactly you can measure your cash flows based on your income statement and your balance sheet. Of course, we're going to be gleaning from the wisdom of Robert Kiyosaki's series of books, right? There are books, several books Robert Kiyosaki wrote even after Rich Dad Poor Dad. We have increasing your financial IQ, etc. Many others, right? Cashflow, Quadrant, and so on. Okay, so we're going to be gleaning from his wisdom and then applying it to our personal finances. Okay, one of the major challenges with the divine entrepreneur is lack of personal finance. Okay, you don't know, there's no accountability, there's no record keeping. Do you understand? But at the divine entrepreneur, you don't have to worry about that anymore. We're going to break it down into simple, easy to understand terms. By the time you're done with this, okay, you will be such a guru that you start teaching your contemporaries. Sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. In the meantime, kindly tell us where you're joining us from, okay? What part of the world are you joining us from? Where are we enjoying you from? What time zone? Amen. Okay? Drop it in the comment section where you're joining us from, and then let us get right to the board. Now, when we talk about the books or the audited accounts, right, of a corporation, a company, etc., right? They usually present two major books of accounts, and they are called the income statement and the balance sheet. Okay, income statement and balance sheet, right? This is so crucial. However, it's so interesting that on an individual and on a personal level, you can actually have your own personal income statement and balance sheet. Okay, and this is how it is represented, right? So my income statement is something like this. Income statement, something like this. And then just below, I have my balance sheet, right? Which I like to represent like this, right? Okay. So under my income statement, I have my income right here, and then my expenses. Okay, and then of course under my balance sheet, I have my assets on this side, and then what? Liabilities. In the coming weeks, we're going to understand how this books of account, right? How this statement is represented with the individuals on the cash flow quadrant. What do I mean? Like, what does the income statement and balance sheet of an E look like? What does that of an S look like? Remember our quadrant, right? So what does the income statement of an employee look like? What does that of an S look like? What does that of a B look like? And that of an I? Remember, we are all working towards moving from the left hand side of the quadrant to the right hand side. You know, those, a quick recap is that those on the left hand side of the quadrant work for money, while those on the right hand side have created structures that make money work for them. Okay, so those on the left work for money, while those on the right, money works for them. Do you understand? So understanding the way money flows, cash flows in and out based on their behavioral patterns, decision making, etc., would really open our eyes up and then establish financial disciplines and education while we deal with money. All right, so income. Under the income statement, mostly the income statement represents your monthly. It represents your monthly statement. What do I mean? Like from January 1st to January 30th, per month. While the balance sheet represents your yearly statement of yearly activities, like your from 1st of January to 31st December. Okay, so the income statement is usually like per month, while this is like per year, right? And this is like per year. So just understand that now when we're in school, in the four walls of school or university, the concepts were so vague and impracticable. Do you understand? But right now, not anymore. So very quickly now, I can just tell you what represents income, expenses, assets, and liabilities, like on a very practical level in your life and my life, right? So my monthly income basically is like my salary. Do you understand? Expenses are, TV, subscription, maybe we can say NEPA bill, Loma bill, maybe we can say etc. Your monthly expenses. What are your monthly expenses? Maybe toiletries and so on and so forth. Everybody has their personal expenses. What do you spend on per month? Some like to also spend on entertainment. Do you understand? Like maybe tickets to the movies, etc., things like that. Do you understand? And then of course, under your expenses, you can also have like your tithe, your prophetic seed offering, etc. All these things fall under the expense column, right? And then your assets. Now under assets, we have things like stocks or bonds, something like that. And then of course we have like property. If you have a property. Do you understand? Like real estate. Yeah, we'll just keep it this simple for now, then we'll go into details much later as we move on. And of course, your liabilities include things like we have home mortgage, your mortgage payments, okay, school loans, car loans, credit cards, retail debts, etc. Okay, so this is like the basic appearance of your income statement and balance sheet. On your own, you can fill in the gap, do you understand, of your income. What represents your income? How do you earn income? Do you understand? And if you have like a rental property, for example, where you collect rent from, that rental income forms part of your income. Do you understand? If you've written books, for example, and then you have royalties being paid to you, it forms part of your income. Do you understand? Yeah. So we have now, the beautiful thing about this statement is that the practicability is that once all your expenses are written down so clearly, you have a picture of what is consuming most of your income, and where you need to cut some things down for future investments. Do you understand? So for example, right now I'm going to clean the board. Just take a snapshot of this. I'm going to clean the board, and I'm going to show you the difference between the E and S's income statement versus that of the B and I. Okay, that's going to be really interesting to see, right? So for an E and S, I'll divide the board. Let's see if the board will be able to accommodate the two, right? So right, for an E and S, here's how the statement looks like, right? So the income statement, something like this. Income statement, and then balance sheet, right? So here we have income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. So now for the E's and S's, right, the fundamental cash flow movement is like this, right? So they get a job. Let's assume this is the job, right? And the income comes in from the job, their job, right? And then, so this is the arrow indicating how income comes in, right? And then as the income comes in, right, it goes out through expenses. You understand? So this is the way cash flows for the E's and the S's, right? Fundamentally. Now for the B's and I's, the big boys. Yeah. For the big boys, we have their income statement right here. Income, expenses, and then We have the balance sheet here. Assets, liabilities, right? The fundamental cash flow movement for a B and I is like this, right? They generate, so assets are mostly what they generate, what brings their income, right? So this is the flow for a B and I. You see the arrow? It keeps flowing this way. Do you understand? Look at it. So cash flows from income generating assets, mostly forming the cash flow of a B and an I, the big business owners and investors. Do you understand? So do you see why these guys on the right hand side keep getting richer? Why these guys keep getting poorer? Why? Their job is their only source of income. Do you understand? Meanwhile, the B's and I's have created income generating assets such as structures and so on, right? That fuel their income. Okay? So they are not directly working for money. Money is working for them. They've created assets that generate income, called what? Passive income. So these are passive income bosses. They are the bosses of what we call passive income. What's passive income? Is income that you generate that comes in while you are sleeping, while you're not even moving an inch, right? So I think the opposite of passive income we can say is active income. I mean, one that actively involves your muscle and your time, which is the job, right? Which is predominantly the E's and S. So if you want a recap on these cash flow quadrant, please check out the previous videos, right? We broke down the introduction of the cash flow quadrant and the characteristics of each of the four members of the quadrant. The E's, which represent the employees, right? So for the sake of those that are just watching this for the first time, right? BIES, where E is what? Employee. S is what? Small business. B is what? Big business. And I is what? Investor. Do you understand? So these guys are represented on this side, while these guys, the big businesses and the investors, are represented here. Can you guys see how interesting this is becoming? I hope we are catching a picture of our future or our current situations or even our past, right? Thank you so much for joining us today. Stay tuned for more fantastic episodes where we now teach us how exactly to manage the cash flows. Do you understand? How should your mind start thinking? How should your mind start processing to take advantage of the juice of this financial exposure and education? Do you understand? With this information, you would hardly be careless with your money. Do you understand? As you are budgeting for that, for that unnecessary want, right? You would be thinking about your income statement, balance sheet, and how it affects your financial decisions, future, and ultimately your financial freedom. All right? So till I come your way again next week, it is bye from us at The Divine Entrepreneur. My name remains Dothrop or Doom. I'm your host of The Divine Entrepreneur. See you on Thursday and Sunday, 7 p.m. WAT. I love you, but God loves you more.